Hey, welcome back to the channel, All Things Business. Tonight we got a good one for you tonight. We're so excited. Tonight's topic is why or what, why is it taking, why is taking action so hard? Why? Why is taking action so hard? And I've been asked this question so many times. Why does it take action so hard? So I'm going to go into 6 points tonight, and I hope you guys really enjoy this, and I hope you get a lot out of it because I'm going to talk about that. Number one is accomplishments. Accomplish. If you have a good teacher to teach you along the way, you can accomplish things faster and it won't be as hard for you. I have a question is who are you studying under or who are you studying with? Very important. Very, 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 very important. I'm going to give you a couple scenarios like the Karate Kid. He had a sensei, and because he thought Mr. Miyagi wasn't teaching him, he thought he was washing his cars and waxing his cars, washing his cars, waxing his car. And he complained to Mr. Miyagi, hey, I'm not accomplishing anything. I've been under your tutelage and I haven't learned anything. And he got in the ring and he said, Daniel-san, wax on, wax off. And he's, oh my God, I know karate. So a lot of times, but having a good sensei or a good teacher, it's on the job training. And they may not teach from the classroom. So many people think you have to be taught through the classroom. I believe in on the job training by getting there and getting in there in the trenches with that new person and going out and showing them exactly how to do it. In music, let me share something with you. A good maestro, think about this. A good maestro has to turn his back to the audience to conduct the band. He has to do what? Turn his back to the people to conduct the band. So sometimes you need to turn your back to the audience to conduct the band. In other words, learn from people who've done it before you have done it. See, everybody had somebody teaching them. And what I talk about is having a real teacher. There you go, a real, not a classroom, a real teacher. What do you mean by that, Al Thomas? Remember back to the movie Back to the Future with Roger Dangerfield in it. It's a great comical, great movie. You got to go see it. Well, there was an English professor, very proper, and he was teaching from an Ivy League college that his son went to. So he decided to go back to school and hang out with his son because he was ultra successful in New York City. And he got in the limo and he had his driver go up there with, which is also his bodyguard. And they went to class in this big auditorium like they do in colleges. And the professor was teaching a lot of rhetoric of how business should be run. And Rodney Dangerfield kept raising his hand, and it frustrated the guy because he said, "No, professor, that's not how it's really done in the real world. It's done this way, this way, this way, this way." And the professor was getting really annoyed with the idea that, after all, he was a professor who, by the way, never had a business versus a businessman who's been ultra successful. So they butted heads through the movie. It was so funny because here again, you need to have a real teacher who's actually done what you want to do or accomplish. That makes sense? So when you first get started, everything seems difficult. That's the next point I'm going to come across is difficult. No, difficult. If you study, a lot of times people get in particular business, whether it's real estate, network marketing, or just traditional business, and they don't study what they need to study. And that's why it seems very difficult. If you study, put an hour or two a day to study. Look, a doctor goes to medical school for 8, 9, 10 years, whatever, to study medicine, which means they still don't know it. A lawyer goes to study law for 4 or 5 years to study it, right? Which means they still don't know it, but they had to put the time in, and it's difficult because they had to study. So you too have to study. You have to find a system, and what a system stands for: saving yourself time, energy, and money. It's a system. I want to tell you a funny story. This guy was a Bible salesman, and he was out selling Bibles, brand new guy, new job, never had sold Bibles before. And he answered an ad and he got the job. And first day he sold 5 Bibles, which was amazing. 10 day, next day, 10 day, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100, 200 Bibles. By the end of 60 days, he was selling more Bibles. He sold more Bibles than anybody in the last 5 years. And they were having an event that day. Coming into town was the president of the corporation and all the big executives flying in. And they had a nice banquet dinner going on, and they decided to give this guy named Waldo the Bible Salesman of the Year award because in 60 days he outsold everybody in the last 2 to 5 years. and they want to know, wow, the president said, I never met this guy. Hey, let's give him this award that night. And it was a beautiful gala, a black tie gala, and it was very nice at the hotel, in the grand ballroom. And so the president's come up to the podium. He's, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad to be here, and I just want to give this award out to the number one Bible salesman. I've sold most people in the last couple of years by himself in less than 2 months, 60 days. And let's give Waldo a hand and give a Bible Salesman Award. And Waldo comes up to the stage, and everybody was like, "This guy outsold everybody. This guy, I mean, this guy." And he came up to the podium, and they gave him the award, and they said, "Waldo, make a speech." And Waldo said, "Well, I don't talk very well." And the number two guy was a little teed off. He was out in the audience because he didn't get the award, and number three was sitting next to him at the table, and they thought there'd be a little smart aleck. And they said, "Hey, Waldo, how did you sell all those Bibles? Tell us your secret," because they want to know, how did this guy do it? And so he looked at the president, and the president said, "Yes, my boy, tell him how you sold all those Bibles. Tell him the secret, how you sold all those Bibles." So Waldo said, he got to the microphone and said, "Here's my secret." And it was a pin drop. You hear guys, shh, quiet, honey, quiet. You could hear it was so quiet. Everybody was sitting at the edge of their seat, pens out to take notes, figure out how did Waldo sell all those Bibles in 60 days. And Waldo started telling his story. He said, well, here's my secret. He said, I would walk up to the door, and I would knock on the door. And when he or he or she open up the door, I would say, excuse me, ma'am or sir, would you want me to stand here and read the Bible to you, or you just want to buy one? Waldo had found a system that worked for him to sell Bibles. The part of it is, I'm trying to get across to you, it wasn't difficult. He made a difficult sell simple. And a lot of times we're always looking for a better way. And there always is a better way if you look for it hard enough. So I just want to share that. Number two is difficult only if you don't study. Number three, you have to learn how to manage. Manage what, Mr. Thomas? Manage your time. How much time are you devoting to learn your business, your trade, or whatever you're involved in? Are you taking the time? I know me, I dove in. When I got in network marketing, I bought every book I could find. I bought every CD, every tape that was out there, every seminar. I remember when I first got in, I drove from Sacramento, California, all the way to Oakland, California, because there was the number one guy in the company coming out. And I took two carloads of people from Sacramento to the Oakland area. It was about 2.5, about 2 hours. And I was so fired at that night. And I went in and I wanted to learn everything he had to say. And it dawned on me. It dawned on me. I have to learn how to manage my time. And when I took leverage with me, because I took a lot of people with me, I wanted to know everything there was. I was totally immersed in learning. And let me tell you something. School is never out for the professional. We're always learning. What else did I learn? I'm learning how to do channels. I'm learning how to do the internet. I'm learning. So the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. So manage your time by continue putting your time into learning things that you don't know. Can I give you a little secret? Let me tell you a little secret. Move closer. I've discovered the more that I learn, I've discovered the more I don't know. Have you found that to be true? True as well? Because the more I learn, the more I discover I don't know. Wow. A lot of people, I know, yeah, they stop learning, and you can't help them. Most people come out of high school or stop learning, come out of college, don't even pick up a book, don't even further their education and to be the best in their field. Number four, control me. Control your time. Control, control, control. I am committed. I am committed to put 2 to 3 hours every day in my businesses so I can control what? My time. I want to control it. But in order for me to control it, I must be committed to put time in to better who? Al Thomas. To better who? In the industry. To better what? To better learn. To know what? What I don't know that I need to know. So I want to control my time. And by controlling it, by being committed, it helps me as a person to develop as a person, develop as a leader, develop as whatever, to develop as a community, to develop, period. Just to develop. It's amazing to me how people stop developing. Man, you got to keep developing. The day you quit is the day you start regressing. Folks, you always got to be learning something. Always, always, always. And number five, overcoming. Overcoming what? Overcoming by doing the thing that you need to do. Over time, you get better at what it is you're developing, but it's going to take time, and you'll overcome the negative. You overcome the objections. One of my cassette tapes, I'm dating myself, years ago, I came out with the 25 objections to network marketing, how to handle them. Why? There's only 25 because in real estate, there's only 25 there as well. Most businesses only 25. It's just that people hear the same question over and over and over and over again. But if you get good at answering those basic questions, oh my God, your income and your business could explode. It's just learning the basic things that people are going to ask you. I call it on the job training. Take baby steps. After you take baby steps, guess what's going to happen? You can go into a full sprint, but it takes baby steps. When I first started, I was not good at this business, but I made a decision. I did what? I made a decision. What is decision? Decision means to cut away. Look it up, to cut away. What was I cut away? I was cutting away things that did not profit me, things that did not help me build my business, things that did not help me build my character, myself, people that wanted to do business with me. I had to learn, like anybody else, I had to learn. God gave me those three billionaires that helped me put things in perspective. And that's why I'm the person I am today. And that's why I have 21 other millionaires I've created over 35 years. But I started with zero customers, zero IVO, zero businesses, zero business. All of it was zero. But I went to work to make it real. What about you? All it's going to take is some time. Mr. Thomas, I'm married. I got kids. I don't have a lot of time on my plate. Make time. If you could give those boys 8 hours a day, come on, 8 hours a day. Let's figure it out. 8 hours a day, right? Let's do this. 8 hours. You got 24 hours a day. Okay. Minus eight. What does that leave you? What does that leave you? 16 hours. So you got 8 hours to work. Let's say you got 8 hours to sleep. Okay. So now you got 8 hours left. So let's put it this way. You got to spend time with the family. Let's give that 2 hours a day minimum. Okay. 3 hours. That's 5 hours. Well, you got to eat, right? Well, let's give that 2 hours. Okay. 2 hours to eat lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So that still give you 3 hours. With 3 hours left over, could you go build an empire? Yes, you can. Part time around your schedule. When I first started, I put 1 hour a day, a 1 hour day. The next year, I put 3 hours a day. By my third year, I was making more in 3 hours than the average was making in a full 8 hours. So, in other words, the three got rid of the other by working it part time, and now financial freedom came. But I had to put the time in. I was committed to see the job too. I overcame the objections. I overcame my mental state. I overcame the fears. So, number one, accomplishment. Number two, the difficulties. Number three is managing yourself and your time because most people waste their time. Number four is controlling me and my input and controlling what I did with my time. And number five, overcoming those things that overcome. And here's number six for you folks is understanding what is going to take. It's going to take time. You have to understand it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. You can look at your favorite actors, actresses, and you think they're overnight success. You didn't see the 10 years it took them to get there, or the 12 years it took them to get there. Or as I look at a lot of these actors, it took some years, but also bingo, they got there. It wasn't overnight. So you have to understand building anything worth having takes time. You got to put the time in. Whether it's a relationship, that takes time. If you're building a business, that takes time. Whatever it is, it's going to take time. So learn what you have to do. And is it worth it? Is it worth the next 3, 5, or 10 years of your time? Absolutely it is. Because let me tell you what they got planned for you on that job. Let me tell you, they got nothing planned for you. They have nothing. So who's going to take better care of you, them or you? You are. That's right. And when you understand that, you'll start doing it every day and putting an hour or two a day. Just like learning internet stuff. I'm learning. I'm a student. I'm back in school to learn. What does it take to be one of the best out there? Is this? Is understanding is going to take time. It's going to take time. I don't care if you slice and dice it. In Japan, the bamboo tree, it takes 7 years for it pops up, but it grows so fast, very, very quickly after the seventh year. It's going to take time. You have to be patient and you have to, over time. So stand out. Let me tell you a story. When I bought my house in Sacramento, when I pulled up to it, I already wrote down my goal, what I wanted, what kind of house I wanted. It was 8,000 square feet, sitting on an acre or so of land. It was beautiful, gated, and everything else. You were in the community. It was like 12 houses. They're all gated, all acre or two better. And when I pulled up, because I took the time to build a legitimate business, I was shopping for a home. And I wanted this big house, and it was beautiful. And it's on the channel, by the way. And I pulled up and I saw the pyramid over the driveway, the circle driveway, and the pyramid on the house. I said, "Oh, three pyramids, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is my house." Before I even went in it. But what am I talking about? I understood it's going to take me a few years to build things up from here, here, and to be able to afford the things I wanted to have in life. And ladies and gentlemen, I am no different than you are. Look, my dad was a sergeant in the military, and in my book, God's Gift, which is on the channel as well, go to Al Thomas. There you go, Al Thomas official, and I talk about it. One of the things, when my defining point in my life is when my dad was in the garage working one weekend. He asked me to pass him a wrench or screwdriver, and his hand was full of grease. And I saw the calluses, and I said, right then and there, I'm going to use this rather than my hands or backbone. And trust me, there's nothing wrong with it. I made a decision, not you, but I made that decision. And I wanted to seek out the best teachers for me to teach me what I needed to do to go where I want to go in life. And I thank God for that decision because that decision has helped me springboard into where I'm at today and helped me touch a lot of other lives like you can too. So remember, this is why taking action seems hard because people think you're hard until you get involved in doing these things. So I'm going to recap. Accomplish something. Get a teacher who's already done it, who's actually done it, not a classroom teacher, but an actual teacher who's got the scuff, scars, and scrapes and yeah, to show you they've done it. Number two, it's difficult. No, it's not difficult if you study. Number three, managing. Managing what? Your time. And too many people let things waste your time. Number four, control. Control who? Control you with your time and the things you let in, the input. I don't have time to watch TV. I don't even watch TV. I don't have time for that. I've got other things to do more valuable with my time than watching somebody else make their millions. That makes sense? And number five, overcome. Overcome what? By doing the thing, by doing it, by learning by doing. See, that's what's important. And number six, understanding it's going to take time for you to build a business where you can take you for the rest of your life and you can enjoy the rest of your life. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no such thing as instant success. Trust me. The only place, listen up, the only place that I know that success comes before work is in a dictionary. It's the only place I know. Anything worth having, like I said before, is going to take work. This is why taking action seems hard for most people. Let's face it, they're not willing to put these things in to get it out. You don't go to the fireplace inside the cabin or inside your house on a winter day and say, hey, fireplace, give me some heat, then I go get the wood. No, you got to put on your jacket, your goulashes, go out in the cold, chop the tree down, and bring the wood in. So you got to do the work first. And that's the key. Most people do not want to sacrifice an hour or two a day for future dividends. Let me say this in closing. Don't let your present self, well, don't let your present self say no to whatever it is you want to do. Don't have your future self look back at your present self and wishing that you had. Let me say it again. Do not let your future self look back to the day and get mad at your present self because you didn't do something to move the needle down the road 3 to 5 or 7 years from today. Where will you be? So these are the reasons why most people seem it's so hard to take action. Folks, take action. If you got a question, please put in the chat. If you got a question about anything I said tonight, I just want to come to you live and give you, why is it taking action seems hard? Yes. There's a question. What do you do? What do you do when you have your plate filled and don't have time? Well, let me answer that real simple. It's amazing how we find time for everything under the sun we want to do, whether it's a bowling league, right? I go to knitting class or whatever thing we want to do to ease the pain or ease some socialization, whatever it may be. Isn't it amazing how we find time for that? But then we don't find time to build an asset for our family to retire in a couple of years. I talked the other day to a group of people, and I said, it's amazing how the average person take one vacation a year, when most entrepreneurs can take six, five or six, because they planned their business and they went to work to make it real, and therefore they could travel and do whatever they want with taking their whole family with them. So, folks, I want you to understand you can put this on your plate, whatever it may mean for you. Put an hour or two part time. Because, like I said, I started many years ago with 1 hour a day. Then I went to 2 hours a day. And then eventually I went to 3 hours a day. And then I was totally free. But I had to start somewhere. The hardest part, and I'm going to end it on this, is getting started. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step at a time. Left foot, right foot, left foot, left foot, right foot. So I just want to say thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate you guys so much. Remember, leave comments below. Send this out to several people that you know that could get a blessing from it. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And go back and listen to my book if you haven't on the channel, called God's Gift. We did over 45,000 people in 30 days. 49. I mean, it's just amazing. But I'm here to help you and guide you and direct you. And I hope and pray that you have a great time, a good evening. And with that said, thank you so much for joining tonight. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Al